Fam, what's good? Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Take a minute, hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. I appreciate you guys being here. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's week 3, headed out to Tampa, Florida on Friday to go watch the Alabama Crimson Tide as they're a 31-point favorite. There's some rat poison taking on South Florida. Spoke with Kool-Aid this week, and he said, no team has won the national title in week 2 and no team has lost the national title in week 2. I want to take your calls. We'll put the call in line up in just a minute. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the comment box, J Sports Card. Do you think we'll see Ty Simpson this week? We will get to that. All this and more right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Coach Saban had a nice little rant, if you will. He doesn't really have those rants that he had kind of, a couple years ago, but it was a pretty good rant. And he was asked about the criticism that his team has faced, that he has faced from former players. And he said, look, who wouldn't criticize us? We didn't play to the standard. And it's a good clip. I'm sure you guys have checked that out. I just uploaded the press conference. I'm going to put together a video to kind of show you a behind the scenes look at how it all goes down. Should be rolling out here pretty soon. Before we get to the good, I wanted to invite you guys to become a fan funder of the YouTube channel. There's several different options for everybody. And again, appreciate your support. This is what I do for a full-time living. So I just added some new emojis. As you can see, the emojis are down there and members are able to, use those emojis inside chats. Taylor just became a member, and so did Ritzy. So I appreciate you guys. How do you become a member? Well, you hit the join button underneath the bottom of this video. It works better on a desktop. You can see subscribe and you can see join. There's a $2.99 option. There's a $4.99 option. There's a $9.99. And then for the big ballers out there, there's a $99. If somebody's, becoming a member of that for $99, a month, my goodness. But the $2.99, for example, you'll get access to all these emojis. You'll help support the channel. So there's that. So I appreciate you guys. Look, there's some good about this team, 100%. So let's start out with the good, and then I'll take you guys' calls here in just a minute. Let me put this on a full screen mode. What's up, Sean? I see you inside the comment box. Appreciate you guys. And I think when you look to the good of this team, you got to start with Will Reichard. Will Reichard has been such an asset for the Alabama Crimson Tide over the last couple seasons, and I think this season is no different. I mean, what he brings to the table is automatic points, whether that's on a point after a touchdown or whether that's field goals. So the guy has been pretty much automatic, and you get him into the red zone, you got to feel comfortable if you're the offense, regardless of what's going on, regardless of what the play calling is, because you have such a weapon in Will Reichard. Jermaine Burton has been playing at a very high level. Talked to Coach Sean about that. He called for him last week against Texas. And Coach Saban was even asked about Jermaine Burton today by a Georgia Bulldog reporter. And I think the progression of Jermaine Burton has been very noteworthy. He's playing at a very high level, graded out as one of the top players for Alabama through 2 games. He had 2 touchdowns, would-be touchdowns against Texas that were called back. They weren't his, fault for having penalties. I mean, the guy's playing at a very high level, and we wanted to see that. Everybody was, critical of him, criticized his ability going into this season. I think he's been playing at a very high level. Kobe Prentice, my goodness, he's been playing outstanding. The guy's Mr. Dependable. And the thing about him was last year, we knew he was dependable as well. And to see him continue to play at that very high level, he has sticky hands. And he was asked on Tuesday why he switched to number 6. And he said, I grew up watching Devontae Smith. That'll age you a little bit, right? Grew up watching Devontae Smith. Like Devontae Smith was just here a couple years ago, Deontay Lawson is playing at a good level on the defensive side. And of course, you want to see more from that defense. They were eaten up in week 2. No pass rush, no sacks. It's an area that has to improve. They were put in some tough situations as well, going up against a very dynamic offense. I think that's going to be one of the best offenses, if not the best offense they faced all season long. So Deontay Lawson is a bright spot, and I think he's going to continue to flourish at that inside linebacker spot. James Burnap, the punter. Look, special teams, we're pointing out the special teams guys. It's critical for you to have a special teams unit that is tops. And Alabama they might not have an offensive identity. They might not have, a pass rush, but they do have an A+ special teams. There was that one punt that might have been shanked by Burnip, but his punts against Texas were stellar. And I think, he deserves a lot of kudos because he is just a great weapon for Alabama. So James Burnip, Will Riker, those guys, special teams is no less than offense or defense. You have to be A+ across the board if you want to win a national title. And James Burnip is playing at a very high level. Amari Niblack, as you know, he did have a drop last game. But with that said, you look at the early season production, he's been doing a fantastic job. Amari Niblack is a weapon. Jermaine Burton is a weapon. Kobe Prentice is a weapon. Let's get those guys the football. Going to open up the phone lines, if you will, and, you guys can call in. I'd love to talk to you guys tonight about Alabama going into week 3. As mentioned, I will be going to Tampa. The call line is 205-850-1994. There are 4 call lines open, so I will get to you guys as you call in. We can talk about Alabama going down to Tampa. Yes, they are a 31-point favorite. Listened to Alex Golesh, who's the head football coach at South Florida. Remember, he was the OC at Tennessee last year. And what did Tennessee do to Alabama? What's up, Sean? I see you in the comment box. Tennessee beat Alabama, and they exploited them through the air with one wide receiver that caught how many touchdown passes? 5. So he was asked about seeing Alabama. This will be the 3rd time that he saw Alabama, within the last 3 seasons, because he was the OC at Tennessee the last 2 seasons before taking this job. And he said, yeah, they're the fastest team that we've seen thus far, obviously. And look, this team has made a lot of progress. They're going to go really fast. They're going to have a very high up tempo. So it's going to be another challenge that for Alabama's secondary, another opportunity for them to get better. And I think that's good because behind South Florida, and I get it, it's the rat poison game. You're going to fly through South Florida, but behind South Florida is Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin and 2 more former coaches under that Saban tree. So it's going to present a lot of challenges to stop Ole Miss, and that's going to be difficult for anybody because Lane Kiffin and Pete Golden. Look, I don't know what Pete Golden's going to do on the defensive side of the ball, but we know that Ole Miss has an offense that can be dangerous. Call line is open, 205-850-1994. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Kyle Henderson, Alabama Football on YouTube. So going into this game, there's a couple things that I'm kind of questioning. And I think that while I wait for your calls, I'll bring this up on the screen. I think that these are the question marks that I at least have. And again, call line is open. We'll leave it at the bottom of the screen, 205-850-1994. We'll just illuminate this full screen. Leave the call line up. Sorry, let's get this up. Will Milroe start? That's the biggest question. That's what everybody wants to know. Call line is 205-850-1994. Will Milroe start against South Florida? And the more that I've thought about this, the more that I think absolutely he's going to start, because a couple of things. I think that he's going to start because you can't just completely take the momentum away. I know we want to see consistency at the quarterback position, but I think what is going to happen, and I agree. I don't think he should start, but I think he's going to start. And I think that what is going to happen is he's going to start. Alabama's going to go hot. And what I mean by that is Alabama's going to get up to 35-0 or whatever it is, and then you're going to make a switch, and then you're going to ride out to see what another quarterback can do. Now, I think that next quarterback to play is Tyler Buchner. Coach Saban was asked about Tyler Buchner this week and said that he has been progressing at practice, and I think he's going to be the first quarterback that we see come in. Ty Simpson is going to be thereafter. So I think you do see 3 quarterbacks play in this game. What is the offensive game plan going to be as well? Are we going to see a running back hit the century mark? And we got 4 callers just like that. We'll go to the phone lines in just a second. And the defensive pass rush has to improve. It's going to be another game where it's challenging to get to the quarterback because they are going to go fast. They are going to get the ball out quickly. So how is the pass rush going to facilitate getting to the quarterback in this game in week 3? And then the X factors. Who are the X factors going to be in this game? I get it. Alabama's a large margin of victory, 31.5 points. But I think that, is it going to be Amari Niblack? Is it going to be Jermaine Burton? Who is it going to be in this game? And then number 5 that I have down here, 3 quarterbacks, I could totally see that happening. With that said, let's go to the phone lines and we'll take it away right now. Hey, Coach, what's up, man? Are you there?
Oh, yes, sir, man.
Oh, sorry, man. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Timmy from Silicaga. Nice to talk to you again.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind, man? Welcome to the show.
I've been doing a lot of digging lately, and everybody's been on Jalen Milroe, but it wasn't all his fault,
Mm-hmm.
The offensive line didn't do good. The pass blocking, run blocking, all that was a huge factor, but I agree with you. I think Milroe should keep the starting job for a lot of reasons, actually. He's got the most in-game experience other than Tyler Buckner, but he's a freakishly good athlete. Not only that, he's only a sophomore, so he doesn't have that many games under his belt. So I believe with more experience, he will fix those, game adjustments about not reading zone coverages and, stuff like that. But I do believe he will be a good quarterback. Alabama's just got to learn how to develop him.
On the line with Terry. Terry, I'm caught up in this because I think it's time that we see another quarterback start to see if we can find that consistency. And even tonight, Coach Saban said that everything is based off performance. So but I don't think what I'm saying is I don't think that Saban goes out and just starts Tyler Buckner against South Florida. I think the reason is you got to give he's going to give Jalen Milroe one more half, another quarter, whatever, to get some confidence going. Because any quarterback is going to walk away from this game with confidence. So he's going to build Jalen Milroe back up, and then he's going to slide in Tyler Buckner and Ty Simpson. So all of those quarterbacks are going to have momentum going into that Week 4 matchup against Ole Miss. Now, who starts against Ole Miss? I have no idea. But I think, kind of like we've been talking about on previous call and shows, that the quarterback will be quick to be pulled out if there is a significant error. An error being a turnover, a costly turnover. And those turnovers were very costly, and they could wind up costing Alabama not only in week 2, but down the road when Alabama, starts to win games, starts to get momentum, is in any type of talk, because Texas, depending on their trajectory, which seems quite up, that's going to be a game that everybody looks back on. And those were some monumental interceptions. So I think it is time that we see Tyler Buckner and Ty Simpson, and see if those guys can get consistency, because Coach Saban said that everything is performance based. But I guess we'll see what happens. You know what, Terry, I have a question for you. I mean, it seems like it's taken too much time for this team to develop any sort of offensive identity. Along with that, it seems like the offensive line play just hasn't been it.
Yeah, offensive line's been a huge deal breaker. I've seen something on YouTube earlier today where Caden Proctor allowed 5 and I believe. I think that was a huge game. See, he's a true freshman. I mean, I know he doesn't have games under his belt or, any of that nature, but I think he should be benched as well, because that was horrible. Like, he was getting shoved around everywhere. I know he's a big guy, but oh man, I've never seen a big guy like that get shoved like it was nothing. So that was a horrible showing for Caden Proctor.
Yeah, I think, the offensive line had a really difficult time, and I think that's been another problem. And that's something that Saban talked about as well, is, a lot of that was on Jalen Milroe, and a lot of that was on the offensive line, because Seth McLaughlin, as we've looked at the Pro Football Focus grades, I think in pass protection, he had a grade of 24 or something like that. That's honestly the lowest grade that I've ever seen on Pro Football Focus from an Alabama offensive lineman. I could show those Pro Football Focus grades if you guys want to see them again. I have a video out kind of discussing those PFF grades. What else, Terry? Make one more point before I move to our next caller.
Yeah, the defense, there's a lot of upside that I can see with that Bama defense. Like I said, the last time Caleb Downs would play a huge factor. He did lead the team in tackles, but he was how to, help Terrion Arnold and another, if they get beat and he can kind of step in and help with that, that would be a huge game changer too. And that defensive line, like you said earlier, they had 0 sacks and like 3 pressures. We have to get to the quarterback if we want to win games, especially against Tennessee, LSU, and definitely Ole Miss, because that Ole Miss quarterback is pretty quick from what I've seen against Tulane. So if we do not get to the quarterback, we're in for a long season. So
absolutely. Well, Terry, thank you very much for calling in. I appreciate it. Please call again next time.
All right, thank you.
All right, Terry calling in, leading off the show, batting lead up. Hey, fam, hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. I think I just got disconnected. I'll be right back in like 2 seconds. All right, slight technical difficulties, but we're back. We'll go to the phone lines. We got a 904, and let's do it. All right, welcome to the show. You're on with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Terry out of Jacksonville, Florida.
What was your first name? I missed it. Sorry about that.
Terry out of Jacksonville, Florida. Another Terry.
Terry, do we go Terry to Terry? I love it, man. You wouldn't believe how many times it happens. We go like Mike to Michael, but now we're doing Terry to Terry, man. So welcome to the show. I appreciate it, and let's get it, man. What's on your mind?
Okay, first, I love your show. It's
Thank
great. You. And one thing about it is, I'm gonna tell you that Bo Davis, he was a coach, man. That he showed it what he did, did out there with Texas defensive line, but. What I they talking about Proctor, but man, he was sending in different guys, and so the young guy gonna get tired. And I saw what the guy was doing. They were standing off from him so he can't touch him quick enough so they can get up on him. You know what I mean? But what we got to do, if we can learn anything, we got to learn something about this game, because they like 3 and 4 deep on the defensive line. We play Texas again. They got to have those guys fresh, our offensive linemen. At first, I was so mad at him. And so when I looked at it again, I said, you know what? Them boys were tired, man. Them guys were fresh, and they so big, and they kept beating up on them. You got to freshen them up sometimes. You got to switch out the center sometimes. You got to switch out the guard sometime, and the tackles. You got to switch them out, because we play Texas again. Them big boys keep leaning on us like that. Come on, man. Because I saw in the first quarter, they had Texas defensive line tired.
Yeah. I
saw them on the sideline breathing hard. I was like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Man, they did their job in the first quarter. And after about the mid part of the second quarter, they got fresh big guys in there beating us up. Beating them up. And I was like, man, God, dog, sometimes you have to go and re-look and rethink. Mm-hmm. And, man, them guys did they ain't superheroes. They got superpower. I mean, you can't keep going against guys 340 pounds and keep beating you up. I mean, I used to box. It's just like me performing against guys, but we almost, I might be stronger than them or better than them, but you keep sending a guy in, I spar him 2 rounds, and spar another guy 2 rounds, and they just as strong as me. I'm gonna get weak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if we're gonna play Texas again, because I ain't never seen anything like that. You know what I mean? Where the guys and I heard Tyler, what is his name? The other, I'm not 52. Tyler Booker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard him talk about how the second team was just as strong as the first team. He said he had never seen that before. And that is true. Usually, it'd be a big drop off when you put another defensive line in. Yeah. But it wasn't with Texas. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is for us. I thought we had the best trainers in the world. Really, I did. But man, something going on. Like I remember when I first went up to Virginia, and I thought I was great because I had my first coach was from Philly. And I went there and I saw this gym, and I was like, oh my goodness, these guys would have killed me because I saw the stuff they was doing in that gym. You know what I mean? So we got. I know it's a war of nutrition. They got it. Yeah, we supposed to have it together, but man, we can't get too mad on that on the offensive line because I was hating it, man. I was hating it. And what that guy was doing in Proctor, that Bo Davis.
Mhm.
So that guy, I look and he got him to step off when he got tired. So he had a speed rush. And we kept going up on him, and the guy tired. He don't got beat up by some 300 something pounders. This guy about 302 or 295, and he come with that speed rush, and I was like, man, somebody got to be smarter than these guys. As far as our coaches got to get smarter, like they are. They was a step above us,
Mhm.
And I was like, man, we just got to get it together. And the quarterback. See why people so mad at Miro? You can throw an interception, you can. I love him, but you can't throw two bad interceptions.
Yeah.
They was bad interception.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at it before that first interception, before he threw it. I used to play high school football. Before he threw it, because I said, well, hold up for a minute. That guy, he playing cover two.
Mhm.
So before he threw it, I said, that guy about to intercept that ball.
Yo.
I said, oh my goodness. When he let it go, I said, that is a bad read right there.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I know I'm talking a lot, man, but we can get it done, and we got to rotate. If we ain't learned anything about Texas, we got to rotate our line more. Especially, our offensive line, our defensive line. We got to get these young guys in there, and them guys come to Alabama to play. So let them play and stop. Because when people see, when players see that you can't really play Alabama in a sense like, oh man, I know, because they know. See, players know throughout the state. Oh, well, this guy was great. This guy, they know him. They played against him, heard about him. But you get to Alabama, he can't play. They said, man, I'm not going to Alabama. I'm going to Clemson. I'm going to go somewhere, because man, we got to get serious about getting these guys in there and playing them. We got to wear teams out like like Texas wore us out.
Yeah,
that was
I think
a lesson learned.
no, I think on the line with Terry, I appreciate the call in, man. I think you do make a really good point in the fact of like the rotation of players, because two players that I think did not play significant time against Texas, Quindarius Robinson coming out on the defensive pass rusher. I think he saw like 7 snaps.
Yes.
And then also Terrence Ferguson. And if you rewind to the fall camp, Coach Saban said that Terrence Ferguson, he looked at him as a starter, played like 8 plays. Maybe it's time. Yes. And I think this is something that's kind of we're all tracking, is if Alabama is going to start rotating that offensive line, maybe put Darian Dalcourt at center, put Ferguson at guard. And, people don't want Elijah Pritchett at tackle, but look, maybe there has to be some sort of a rotation, because we need to figure out the consistency, not only with the quarterback position, but also with the offensive line. Like, that was a big catalyst to why, Alabama just hasn't found its identity yet. So the guys are there, and, we'll get to them. Terry, I'm going to move to my next caller. I appreciate the call from Jacksonville.
Okay.
Call in anytime, and I appreciate the support.
All right, be blessed, brother, and roll tide.
All right, roll tide to you, man. Be blessed. All right, that's Terry calling in from Jacksonville. We got a 615, a 256, and a 205. If you call in and you hear the busy line, that means that the lines are filled up. Have 4 call-in lines. I pay for the lines, so I could have 10, but then obviously, like from a business standpoint, it is what it is. But I will get to the calls as quick as I can, and I'll let you guys also make your point. 419 just joined us as well. So 615, let's get it. Are you on the line with Kyle Henderson? Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, man, this is James from Nashville.
I appreciate you calling in, James. Go ahead, man. Welcome to the show.
I appreciate it, Kyle. I've been listening to what everybody has to say. I think a lot of people make a lot of very excellent points. I'll start with the quarterbacks. I think that the issue I have is, everybody acts like if you play a player or start a player, that player has to always start. But, why not give another quarterback a chance? We know what Jalen Milroe is capable of. We know what he can do. To me, it seems like he doesn't even call his own audibles. Like, you at least want to try to have a quarterback when they're looking at the defense to say, we're not in an ideal situation. Maybe we want to switch to a different play. And I just wonder if that capability, does he even do that, for example? I know he's a great player. He has a high ceiling, but why not allow someone else the opportunity to start to see what they can do? if they flop, you can always go back to Milroe. You know,
Yeah, and I think
I agree with the
go ahead, continue. Go ahead.
No, I apologize. I agree with the offensive line thing. I think we ought to be switching up. You know, giving different people, put different people in different places to see who gels the best together. Because at the end of the day, it's a unit. You play together, and whoever does that the best, put those folks on the field.
And see, I think to your first point about the quarterbacks is we have seen what Jalen Milroe can do. And you can always come back to him. It's not like he's going to lose his skill set, right? And he did play in 2 good games. He got the start against Middle Tennessee, got his feet wet. And then he played against a very good Texas team. What I don't want to happen is for Tyler Buchner or for Ty Simpson, whoever comes off, to come off in like garbage time. I think they need to get in in some critical situations, like from the get-go, in an important 3rd and 8. Yes, against South Florida. That's important. Like the first drive. So you can't have drive killers, as Coach Saban was talking about tonight. And those guys need to be put in those situations. So if Tyler or Ty is called on, or even Dylan Lonergan down the road, they have to be able to have that experience to check out of an audible. They have to be faced with some adversity. And right now, the only sample size that we do have is from Jalen Milroe. So Coach Saban wants consistency. Coach Saban said that everything is based on performance. And he's right. So what we don't know are kind of the question marks that I posed. Is Milroe going to start? And how many quarterbacks are we going to see play? Because I think we all know, and you know, it is what it is. I mean, Alabama's going to go into South Florida and do what they want. But how many quarterbacks are we going to see in this game? And what order are those quarterbacks going to be in? And are those quarterbacks going to come in during some sort of garbage time where I don't think it's going to be very effective? And then one of the things that I've been harping on as well is not only has the offense been inconsistent through the first 2 games, as well as the defense, but the schedule has also been inconsistent. Middle Tennessee, then Texas, now South Florida, and then back to Ole Miss, right? So it's hard to kind of gauge where this team is. It's hard to see the offensive or defensive identity. So we're not going to learn too much more about this game, but these guys need experience. So what else you got for us, James? We're on with James from Nashville.
The only other thing I would say is in regards to the defense, I mean, it's just the way it is. You're going to give up big plays. I mean, you learn from the big plays. I think our secondary is going to be fine. I think there's a lot of great folks in the secondary. I think we'll figure the rush thing out. The one thing I have an absolute problem with is our inability to create turnovers. I mean, the one player that made a starter that made an interception the first game was Jalen Key.
Yeah.
That completely changed that game. You know, it's 14-0, makes a pick. We go down, we score. And turnovers are critical when you play defense. It's such an important part. And we had 0 turnovers. We had a couple opportunities, but we had no turnovers. As a defense, we have to create turnovers. I don't know what it is we need to do to work on that, but that's something that has got to be fixed.
Absolutely.
So,
well, thanks for the call, James. Up in Nashville, you enjoy that beautiful city, and I'll catch up with you next time.
Thank you. God bless.
Yeah, God bless you too, man. All right, we got a super chat in. 199. Do you think the O-line will shuffle will happen? Yeah, I think you have to. I mean, the O-line is not where it needs to be right now. So you got to find consistency there as well. I think you got to see more of Ferguson and maybe even see if there's someone else other than Caden Proctor. I know I hate saying that, but the way that he was bullied and beat off the edge, I mean, that can't happen again. And when you go to that gauntlet that we've been talking about in the SEC, like that isn't the performance that you need. Then we also have Bama Jeff 79. He said 2 super chats and we missed them. Man, my bad. I hold it against my head, not my heart, man. You know I got love for you, Bama Jeff 79. No hard feelings here. Appreciate all the super chats and all everybody's support right here on the channel. We go back to the phone lines with a 256 and let's do it right now. Coach Sean, what's up, man? Appreciate you calling in.
What's up, Kyle? How you guys doing? Roll Tide to everybody. What's going on with you?
Man, you know, I went to the stadium. So Wednesdays are busy because what happens on Wednesday is you have the SEC teleconference at 11, And then I have like some meetings and kind of game plan for my show, which is now. But then you also have Coach Saban, who starts at 6, right? So I got Coach Saban. I upload the press conference from the Naylor Stone media room. And then what I do is I package that as quick as I can, pack up my stuff, and then I drive home and I got dinner with the kids for like 6:45 to 7:30 or whatever. And then I jump on the show and here I am with you fine people. So it is busy on Wednesdays, but that's during the football season. I love it. But it's just about organization. So we're knee deep in it. And the thing about it is you can't have a lull or be disinterested in week 3. Like, this is a critical game. There's critical factors that you need to focus on in week 3. It doesn't matter about the opponent so much as it does like focus on what needs to be done from a technical standpoint and building the identity of this offense, the defense, and getting some sort of continuity with the entire team. Because guess who's behind South Florida? Ole Miss. And guess who's behind them? Mississippi State. Like, these are big games. So you can't just be like, oh, it doesn't matter. No, it matters tremendously going on the road. It's your first road game. Dial these kids back in, get back on, get the dub. And you got to play at a very high level in week 3. So with that said, man, welcome to the show, Coach Sean. I know everybody loves you, man. So what you got for us?
I agree with you. 100%, man. I honestly think Coach Saban is going to start Jalen Milroe. But what I think he's going to do, matter of fact, what I know he's going to do is he's going to play another quarterback, like you said, not in garbage time. I really believe that he's going to give Buckner a really chance to play like within the normal flow of the game. I don't think he's going to wait to garbage time. But what I do believe is I don't think all 3 of quarterbacks is going to get significant reps. I think 2 quarterbacks is going to get significant reps, and I think the 3rd quarterback will come in garbage time. I think the significant reps during the normal flow of the game will be Buckner and Milroe, and I think Ty will come in at garbage time. As far as Caden, Caden's a young guy, man. By the time Caden leaves Alabama, I promise you guys, he's probably going to be an Outland Trophy award winner. He's young. For Coach Saban to start that young man should tell you about everybody behind him. I don't think you need to move Caden. I think you need to give him one more game. To ask this young kid to come start against Texas like that, that's a big deal. That's a big deal, brother. I told everybody those guys were talented on defense. That's a lot to ask of a true freshman, man. And I think he's going to get better. I think he's going to learn. He's obviously a smart young man. He's obviously gifted. I think he's going to get better. I think that kid will be better. Let's watch him this game and see what happens going forward. As far as our offensive line, I think these guys need to have a come to Jesus meeting, man. I really do, as far as a whole. I didn't like what I seen from several of those guys. I didn't like the chemistry. I just didn't like a lot about it. I understand Texas is great on defense. I get it, man, but I just didn't, like I said before, I'm not used to seeing Alabama's offensive line get done the way we do people. That was very humbling for me as a fan to see. But I'm going to tell you something about this sport, man. It happens. Yeah. It happens, man. I listened to, a couple other shows, and I heard Josh Pate say something about our coaching staff. Mm-hmm. And, I want people to understand what he means by that when he said our coaching staff is not as seasoned as some of our past coaching staffs. He's not saying our coaching staff is not good, but when you compare it to those 15, 16, those coaching staffs were legendary. I want people to understand who was on that coaching staff. Miami's head coach was on that coaching staff. Oregon's head coach was on that coaching staff. Georgia's head coach was on that coaching staff. Florida's head coach was on that coaching staff. Ole Miss's head coach was on that coaching staff. Texas's D-line coach was on that coaching staff. Colorado's outside linebacker coach, Coach Sal, was on that coaching staff. So you had all these guys at Bama at one time. So that was an outstanding coaching staff. And these guys all got head coaching jobs based on how they performed at Alabama. They got jobs at other places. They did well. Now you see these guys in the SEC. And every one of these guys has taken a little bit of that secret sauce with them to wherever they went. So It's difficult, man. It's difficult. I really believe that the guys are going to come out. They've heard everybody. I enjoyed the older players. You know, I enjoy when the older players chime in. I do. It's a standard here, man. It's a standard here. It's no disrespect to nobody. But Coach Saban said it himself. Alabama ain't for everybody, man. It's not for everybody. We got a standard here. You know what I mean? And it's got to be held up. It's got to be held up. If you don't want to hold a standard and don't want to pick up this line, respectfully move out of the way. Move out of the way and let one of the younger players get in there and do their thing. I do believe the guys are going to understand and snap back this game. Obviously, it's against South Florida. We understand. I'd like to see a shutout. I'd like to see a shutout, just like me and the guys said on the show. I want the guys to come out. I think I would feel a lot better if the guys came out, dominated this game early, you know, and put up a nice score and not let those guys get in the end zone. I really would feel a little better about the situation. I don't think it's over for us by far, man. I think we're young in a lot of key spots, and I think we're going to get better, period.
On the line with Coach Sean, Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. So check this out, Coach Sean. So I go to Westgate and have a good relationship with them. And let me see, I might have to take a screenshot of this so I can get into a different file. But I'm gonna put this on the screen in just a second. You guys are gonna hear a screenshot. So when you walk out of the Westgate and you go to the top floor, you see the 2015 squad, okay? And the 2015 squad is exactly what you were just talking about, and probably what Josh was talking about as well, right? So let me put this up full screen, and let's just look at the coaches on this team. It's crazy, okay? Right. So let's just go from the right.
And I forgot about Mel Tucker, too. Mel Tucker was on that staff, too. Michigan State tail coach.
Okay, so let's just look at this, okay? So you have Lane Kiffin to the right. And you guys point them out too. You got Gerald Burns, right? One of the OGs. There's Mario Cristobal up there. There's Tosh Lapoy up there.
Yep.
There's Scott Cochran when he had hair up there. There's Coach Saban, the young GOAT. Then to the left, you have Kirby Smart, right? Oh, there's Tosh Lapoy up there. Then there's Mel Tucker.
Yep.
Right? So, like, I think, you know, maybe that's what he was getting to. Like that is an elite.
Yeah, exactly.
That is an elite coaching squad for sure. And you look to all those guys, right? It's really amazing to see kind of, you know, who was on that squad. And you're right. They have taken the secret sauce a little bit. And think about the guys coming back to Alabama with that secret sauce. Like you just said, Steve Sarkisian, Jeff Banks, Kyle Flood. Right. Another guy that we didn't even talk about was A.J. Milwee. The guy worked with all the quarterbacks at Alabama. So he was kind of like one of those quarterback gurus. He was actually under Alex Mortensen, who was the quarterback guru. Now he went with Trent Dilfer to UAB. But do you see kind of all those coaching tree under Coach Saban, right? And now you have Pete Golding, you have Lane Kiffin, and those guys on the back end of South Florida. So those guys know what it takes and the right mindset to play at this level when you come into Bryant-Denny Stadium. But yeah, that 2015 squad, that has a lot of that's a lot of money in there, you know, at the highest level.
Yes. and remember, the next year Billy Napier came to coach wide receivers. He coached Amari Cooper. Yeah. Billy Napier, Florida's head coach, was on that staff as well.
Jeez,
so
that's crazy.
I mean, think about that, guys. that is crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
So yeah, man, I believe we're gonna be fine, Cal. I believe we all had our upset moments. You know what I mean? I think the young men, I think they understand. They've heard the cries of the former players, and I really enjoy that. Mm-hmm. And I think they'll bounce back, man. I really do. I think Ole Miss is preparing right now for us. Mm-hmm. And I've seen those guys have a tough game against Ole Miss, and I think we'll be fine. And I'm gonna be positive about it, man. I can't wait for Saturday.
Yeah. All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate you more than you know. You've been such a great addition to the channel. A lot of people just love your take, especially me. And, I have nothing but respect for your take. And you have such a great delivery, too. So I always respect the grind, and I respect, you guys coming on the show to help increase the value of the show. So we will catch you on the post game. And, of course, me and you are always rapping. So thanks for calling in, and
yes, sir.
We'll catch up with you next time.
No problem, man. I appreciate all of you guys and all the great fans in the chat that love chiming in with us. Roll Tide to you all, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Thanks, Coach. All right, that was Coach Sean coming in. Really appreciate his take. You know, he just has a really good delivery. And one thing that I do respect is all these people out here on the YouTube channel putting in the grind. Like, there's so many channels now that I see that are created, or even if it's editorial, if these guys are writing, like, you have some really tremendous hard workers in this media room that are writing the stories that you're reading and, you know, creating content, whatever network they're from. Honestly, respect, because there's a lot of work that really goes into it. We go back to the phone lines with the 205 and we start right now. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, man, it's D again, man. I talked to you Sunday night.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you very much. Welcome back to the show. What's on your mind, man?
Man, why I had to follow Coach Son, man? I feel like Ray Perkins or whoever going to follow Nick Saban, man.
It's a tough act to follow, for sure. Give it,
follow, man.
We can do it together, though, man. Teamwork is dream work. So I got your back, man.
All right, man. I just want to say that I felt when Bo Scarborough did his little rant, I felt everything he was coming from. And I read Marquise Mays' tweet and Reggie Ragland's tweet. And I think you the one posted on the clip of when Lawson got pushed over. And can you ever imagine Reggie Ragland get pushed over? Or what the guy that was in New England all them years? The linebacker that was in New England all those years.
Deontay Hightower? Hightower?
Could you imagine Hightower or Rolando McClain or Ashawn Robinson or Reuben Foster getting pushed over by a lineman like that, man? These guys are, it's like, I'm not want to talk about the kids, man. It is like, it's something not there no more. And I used to always say, like on NIL, I think the NIL had really like made them, I don't want to say weak. I think they need money. They deserve to get paid. They deserve something. But it's like, maybe it has to soften them up a little bit. They think they're more. It's something there that's softening them up for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear the other guys that say, like, you know what I'm saying? Like Bo Scarborough said, man, we shed blood, sweat, and tears on that field. And you guys them guys were dancing in the middle of the A, man. Dancing and singing a fight song in the middle of the field. And, as a lifelong Alabama fan, that kind of hurt me, man. Like, they almost rushed the field. Like, you would think you would never, like Coach Brian said, act like you've been here before. You would never think you would see somebody rush the capstone. And that's what they did. And the little dude, he cut his mud off and all that, and he out there screaming. And it's like, it was disrespectful to me. And I know it was disrespectful. It was disrespectful to me as a fan. And I know how them guys feel. They never would have put up with that. So I want to hear them mad. Like, get mad. Go out there and beat them by 100 points. That's what I hope they do to this Florida team. But why? I mean, they shouldn't let them do that. That's all I want to say.
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
Yeah, and I think you're right, too. Like, after listening to Coach Saban, I mean, he makes a great point. Like, why wouldn't that team be criticized? Like, they want to be pushed. And those guys, those former players, they've played at the highest level. They bleed crimson. They've been there. They are still part of the program. They are built by Bama. They have every single right to say what they're saying because you think you're a fan. Like, they played there. That's their home.
Right.
So, like, those are their teammates. So they're saying that they're mad. They're fans for sure. But with that said, like, they're also trying to come from like like they're getting on their ass. They're encouraging them. Like,
right.
We're built by Bama. This is not the standard. And look, I get it. Coach Saban, he can block out the noise. He's a different level. He's not on social media, whatever. But like these guys, these other players, everybody has seen the rants from the former players and stuff like that. And sometimes that is encouraging to those players. So yeah, I think just like everybody else can speak their mind, but it comes down to execution and it comes down to performance. And this team is very young. There's not a lot of returning starters on this team. It's a very early season. That's why you really can't discount a lot of the players who are currently playing. But with that said, you need to rotate in players because maybe some players are going to perform at a higher level on a more consistent basis. And right now, the players that are currently playing aren't showing that consistency, Therefore, other players need to be rotated in, probably at the quarterback position like we're talking about. D, make one more point before I move to my next caller, man.
No, you go ahead, man. Again, boy, I mean, I appreciate everything you do. I appreciate Sean, Coach Sean, and all those guys, everybody that work with you on your platform, and, you know what I'm saying, roll tide to everybody that listening.
All right, appreciate it, man. Roll tide to you, D. Take it easy.
Thank you.
All right, that was D calling in. We got a 419, a 706, and a 337. Let's go right back to the phone lines. 419, let's get it. Hey, thank you very much for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from? Looks like we lost the call, unfortunately. Dang it. All right, 706, let's go. Hey, 706.
Hey, man.
What's up, man? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, this is Josh. I'm in Northwest Georgia.
Josh from Northwest Georgia. I appreciate it. Hey, before we start, 419, call back. I dropped your call. I know you've been waiting for a minute, man. So sorry about that. All right, Josh, welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you calling in from Northwest GA, man. What's on your mind?
Hey, Kyle. Love the show, man. Just calling to see if you could touch base a little bit on Ty Simpson. It's crazy, like the fall off at quarterback, and the same could be said for a lot of positions down there, man. You know, over the last few years, if you look at our previous quarterbacks, they're all starting in the NFL. You can go back as far as Jake Coker, and even Blake Sims could absolutely spin the ball. He was a dual threat, but he could spin it too. So, you know, we kind of knew, I kind of seen this with Jalen Milroe last year's 8A game. He had a good game, was throwing darts and fades to the end zone, but, you know, game come live last year, he just did not look great. I'm not on here to bash him, but there's obviously a significant fall off from what we have had to what we have now. And over the off season, all we heard from media and insiders was Ty Simpson, you know, over and over and over. So we all thought that was going to be the guy.
Yeah.
Like we thought that was the next best quarterback at Bama. So if you could just touch on that, man, we're kind of just wondering, like, what happened to him, why the fall off, you know, because even like recruiting Buckner from Notre Dame, if you look at his tape, like, he's a turnover machine as well. Like, nothing about his tape impressed me whatsoever. So I'll hang up and listen. If you could just touch on that, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Josh. Thank you very much for calling in. Josh calling in from Northwest GA. So the thing about Ty Simpson was, yeah, he's right. Josh is right. I mean, all summer long, we actually heard from, what was it, Greg McElroy, right, was saying that he was kind of hearing the inside track was Ty Simpson. And who would know it better than him? I mean, he played here at Alabama. He's going to the practices and whatnot. I knew last season when Bryce left that they were going to bring on an additional quarterback. And I don't think that was a popular opinion with a lot of people. They felt that Jalen and Ty were capable enough to do the job. But clearly, Alabama felt that coming into the situation, they needed a quarterback with experience. Now, Buckner doesn't have a lot of experience, but he has some, more than Ty Simpson. So whatever happened during fall camp, you know, it looks like Ty Buckner might have beat him out in that second scrimmage that they had. But look, this is a long season. I think we could see a lot of quarterbacks this year. We could see Tyler Buckner, we could see Ty Simpson, and we could see Dylan Lonergan. Honestly, I think that's probably going to be the case because we're going to have to find some sort of quarterback who can finally take the bull by the horns. Coach Saban wanted that to happen during the fall. He didn't want that to happen during the season, right? So that's probably what's going to be the case. Now, has Jalen taken the bull by the horns? No, he hasn't. I agree with Josh too. I mean, I think Ty is a fine quarterback, and I think he has the mechanics and the DNA and understands the schematics. His dad is the coach at UT Martin. You know, the guy is a, quarterback guru. And I think he has good athleticism too. He looked good in the spring game. He has athleticism. So, why not give him a shot? And I think his opportunity will come at some point. One of these quarterbacks is going to turn into a a playmaker for sure. Just when is it going to happen? Who is it going to be? And we talked earlier in the show, we know what Jalen Milroe can do. And, if ultimately he is the best quarterback in the room, then coach will probably circle back at some point and hand him the reins. But I'm curious just to see what happens against South Florida and who that true number 2 quarterback is. But again, it might not be a true number 2. It might be a continuing rotating fashion of quarterbacks. But I think, Ty Simpson, I want to see him too. I mean, the guy throws a great ball. He has athleticism. His game, honestly, isn't too different than Tyler Buchner. I mean, they're both athletic quarterbacks that have good arms. So I guess we'll just have to see, which quarterback kind of duels it out between those two for next in line. We go back to the phone lines, and it's a 337, and we start right now. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
David from Louisiana.
What's up, David? I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the continued support, and I know you're calling from enemy lines, man. What are you thinking about the quarterback situation going into week 3?
Well, can't put all the blame on Milroe. You could put probably 50% of the blame on Milroe and the rest of it on the offensive line, because offensive line didn't do crap in that game. They did okay in the first quarter. They was moving the ball down the field, good runs, here and there. One thing that kind of aggravates me is when you got a running back that's only getting 10 carries and you pull in another one that runs 5 or 6 more carries. I want to see a running back come in and stay in and get 30, 40 carries and get him comfortable, in the game, get him warmed up where he needs to be at. As far as quarterback, I don't see Ty Simpson being a starter anytime soon. It had to be a miracle, or Milroe and Buchner transfer or something of that nature. A lot of people talking crap about Buchner. I'm not completely high on him, but I have watched some video on him and everything. Last year he only got to play in 3 games. Yeah, he has turned the ball over, but most of the interceptions that I've seen were from deflected passes from a big, defensive lineman knocking it up in the air, and his cornerback, somebody in the area intercepting it, running back for a touchdown or whatever. But against South Carolina in the Cax Slayer, Gator Bowl, or whatever it was, he went for 271, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, he had 3 interceptions, but those 3 interceptions, one of them was a spy sitting there that read him, and the other 2 were deflected passes. The dude's got some wheels on him. He can run, his completion rating ain't but 55%, but that was last year, he only threw 46. He threw 83 times with 46 completions, and his longest was 75 yards. But like I said, I don't know who is going to be the one who can actually take over the team. We need somebody like a A.J. McCarron that's going to get on the sideline and chew them out. You remember, what was it, Notre Dame, Alabama 2013 BCS, the championship game, and him and Barrett Jones got into a big argument and a pushing fight in the middle of the field. Mm-hmm. We need a quarterback to get on the sideline. Tom Brady kind of a mindset that's going to get in their face and hey, you need to block. You need to do your stuff instead of going sitting off by yourself by the phone and waiting on the OC to call you. You need to go sit down and talk. You as being the leader of the offense, you have to do something. Something's got to give. You need somebody who's going to have some pit bull in them. Not some Chihuahua, but some pit bull.
David, let me ask you a question real quick. Do you think it really matters that Tommy Rees and Kevin Still are up in the box as opposed to down on the field?
Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think they don't want to be nowhere as close to Coach Saban and a headphone come flying off and popping them in the head. I think that's what it is. We've all seen Coach Saban, what he's done over the years. He'll chew their ass out. Yeah. And with them being, 150 feet in the air away from him or whatever, however far it is from him, they know they're safe until after the game. Yeah. But these players need to start holding each other accountable as well as themselves accountable. It starts with holding yourself accountable and then your buddy next to you. That's like when I was in the military. When I was in the Army, you know, I went to Iraq. I went to Afghanistan. I served my country.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but the guy next to me, I depended on him to have my six as well as he depended.
Yeah. David? I don't know.
And dancing and smiling and doing all this stuff, that's an embarrassment. That is embarrassing. If I was a head coach, he'd be riding the pine for 1, maybe 10 more games, or he can transfer. We don't need that. It looks bad. It looks really, really bad, and it's embarrassing to the Alabama Crimson Tide fan base as well as the university whenever you lose a game in your home stadium, and we have one of the most impeccable records in the country for years since Coach Saban's been there. We hardly ever lost at home. Then you get beat, and I'm not knocking Texas by any means. They're a great team. They came in with a dog mentality and said, we're going to do this, and they done what they did. Like last night, I watched the Bama Standard with Coach Smoot and him, and I gave the whole team, they said, everybody in the comments, give them a grade. I gave the whole team a C negative, a C minus, because there were some times when Kool-Aid was playing and he had his back turned when the ball was coming to the receiver, that if he'd have been looking, he could have probably got an interception off of that. I mean, and I'm not knocking Kool-Aid. I mean, he's one of the best on defense, but play the ball. When you see that receiver turning back and looking for the ball, turn your head on a swivel too, and look and see if the ball's coming, because if it is, you might get lucky and get an interception, possibly one for a pick six. But I've seen him do that a couple of times, and Terry Arnold grabbing and pulling and about to pull the whole shoulder pads off of that dude. I mean, yeah, it was a smart play instead of it getting for a touchdown. And I don't think they scored on one of them. But, I mean, like I said, big games, you got to think, you got to the penalties will kill us, but they got to have this dog mentality. And I'm not saying that Tyler Buchner's the savior by any means, but think about this, y'all. Just think about this. The last quarterback to transfer from a Yankee school and come to the South and play in the Southeastern Conference to win a national championship was, Joe Burrow with LSU. And I'm not saying that Tyler Buchner can, but all we got to do, we got to give him a shot, because from what I've seen, Milroe is a one-read quarterback. One read. If his first read ain't there, he's gone. And I watched Tyler Buchner, and like I said, only in the few little short games on his highlight stuff, he just didn't. Yeah, everybody's like, well, he's run. Well, 98% of those runs were designed for him to run, because he's fast. He's good on his feet. He can shift and move. But I watched him read downfield and make some good passes and everything. He's going to look and see. All we can do is give the man a shot. If he don't, then we just move on down. And then if they don't work out, I'll see if I'm eligible, and I'll come in at 48 years old and try to throw the football 5 yards down the field or whatever. Something's got to give. But anyways, you know how I end my calls. God bless everyone. God bless this great country. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide to you. Thank you very much, David. We appreciate you. We appreciate your service to this great country. If you are in the United States military, we really appreciate your service. I know that, sometimes we have, people watching from all over the world, really. So we appreciate you guys, and we understand that freedom isn't free. So thank you very much for what you do for our great country. We'll go back to the phone lines in just a second. I have some question marks going into week 3. Milroe to start, that's a question mark. I don't know if that's ever been, kind of laid out. I think it's probably time for another quarterback to start, but I do think that Milroe will start, if that makes sense. Offensive game plan, what is that going to be against South Florida? This team needs some sort of offensive identity. Hey, Buck, thank you very much. 18 years, active Army. Really appreciate you. Thank you very much. If you're, in the military, you can go ahead and post inside the comment box. I'll get you guys up on the screen. Thank you very much. Budnick saying, I served 4 tours. Thank you very much as well. Defensive pass rush. We need to see it. It has to happen. I think it's going to be very difficult, to get to this quarterback as well, because they're going to get it out similar to Middle Tennessee. Coach Saban said that South Florida gets the ball out quicker than anybody else in the country. And remember, the OC is, he was the OC last year at Tennessee, and Tennessee beat Alabama. Not saying that they have the weapons to beat Alabama, but still, I mean, it is kind of strange that that is happening. And then 3 quarterbacks. Are we going to see 3 quarterbacks? Are we going to see 4 quarterbacks? What are we going to see? And, we do have kind of those are the questions kind of going in. You've seen some emojis being posted inside the comment box, like a Roll Tide, Coach Saban. I'm even an emoji. You can get those inside the comment box by being a member of the YouTube channel. FanFunder, just $2.99. Hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. Any video works better on desktop, and appreciate your support. And of course, everybody else, thank you very much for your support right here on our YouTube channel. We go back to the phone lines, and 205, and we start right now. Hey, thank you very much for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Jacob from Birmingham.
Jacob from Birmingham. Thank you very much for joining the show. What's on your mind, man? Take it away.
The offensive line play has been rough, especially with at center, Seth McLaughlin. I mean, for the past couple of games, snaps on the ground, and it's kind of hard for the quarterback to, get a good read down the field when your snaps on the ground. And I have no idea why we're still starting Darian Dalcourt. I mean, it's been about, 2 years now, and he still hasn't improved, still getting pushed around. And I think improvements need to be made on the offensive line. And whatever needs to be done just needs to be done. And also at quarterback, I mean, a lot of people are saying we need to get rid of Milroe, find another quarterback, and I agree. I mean, if you take away those 2 turnovers that Milroe had, that's 10 points. And we lost by 10 points, so you can do the math on that.
Yep.
But, yeah. Jalen Milroe, I think we need to give Ty Butner a shot.
Mm-hmm.
I just think we do. I just think we do. Because the mistakes that Milroe made, after the first interception, I was like, okay, he just needs to get the jitters out. Mm-hmm. But after the second one, you're putting your defense in bad positions, and it's really affecting the game.
Yeah.
So that's all I had to say. But
well, I appreciate you calling in from Birmingham. You're right. I like that first interception. It was kind of like almost everybody was waiting for Jalen Milroe to make a mistake, right? And then he made one, and then you're kind of like, okay, let's see what he can do. But that second interception was like, that was like that is not this level. That is not the standard. But then it's inconsistent because then he goes out and look, so check this out. And I think I showed this on one of my videos. In fact, I know I showed it. It's the Pro Football Focus grades that he had. And what was amazing about his overall grade, I'm going to put those up on the screen, is talk about, kind of a, I guess, dichotomy of, a passing tree. Because when you look to his Pro Football Focus chart, I'm bringing this up full screen now, is that you see to the outside left and 25 yards downfield, he's 2 of 3 for 78 yards with 2 touchdowns and almost a perfect NFL passing rating. And then between the numbers, he's 4 of 6 for 136, a touchdown, and almost another perfect NFL passing rating. And to the outside right, he's 1 of 3, 48 yards with a touchdown for 121 passing rating. Those are 25 yards downfield. Those are amazing numbers. But then you look to the intermediate passes, that's where he struggles. Outside left, under 20 yards, 1 of 3. Between the numbers, 1 of 4. And look at those NFL ratings, 53, 67. And some of that is just reading defenses and understanding where people are going to be and where they're not going to be, right? So downfield, yeah, he has a big arm. He can sling it. He can throw it. But clearly he's struggling with those intermediate passes. So, look, maybe just, get him going on just deep balls, but something has to improve because you just can't go with the deep ball. Clearly, you need a quarterback that can pick you apart. Anything else why I got you on the line?
Yeah, it's just consistency. He's still staring down his first read, and like that second interception, he stared him down all the way. He wasn't having his eyes open to look at the coverage. And that's a big problem for when we go against better teams not better teams, when we go against the SEC competition like LSU and Texas A&M, big road games, and it's going to be challenging for them. But that's all I have to say.
All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate you calling in. Please call in anytime, and thanks for joining us tonight.
All right. Thank you. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide to you. That was Jacob calling in from Birmingham. We got a 404, we got a 205, and we got a 419 inside the call queue. Appreciate you guys calling in. I'm actually going to jump to my 419, 404. Hang tight. I know you've been on the line, but my 419 was on earlier, and he got cut off, so I'm going to go to him and then come right back. So thank you very much for being patient, everyone. Hey, 419, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson, who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
How you doing? This is Deshaun from Ohio.
What's up, Deshaun? I'm sorry about earlier. Somehow we got disconnected, so my bad, man. Welcome to the show.
Oh, that's fine, man. Man, me personally, I think we should just play the kids. Play Ty Simpson, man. I get it. The other guy, they've been there before. Tyler Buckner knows the system, but, man, I'd rather play Ty because if we're going to lose, we might as well just lose with the young guy than rather play with some guys who've been there that still hasn't even shown any progress from the season before.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're on with Deshaun from Ohio calling in, man. I think that, you know, the whole quarterback situation revolves around what Coach Saban said tonight during his press conference. I don't know if you got a chance to watch that, but, you know, it comes from everything is based off performance based. And if he's saying that, it's kind of reading between the lines, like the performance isn't there. And sometimes you lose your job. And that's how it should be, honestly. Like if you're not performing, trust me, I've been there myself. If you're not performing at the level that you need to, things aren't going to go well from you. And nothing would ever be against the kid's character because the kid, it emulates such a great young man. It's nothing to do with that. It's just we're at the highest level. So you need the highest level player to be playing. I don't know if it's going to be Tyler, Ty, or Dylan or whoever, but consistency seems to be the theme that we can't keep circling back on. What else you got, Deshaun?
And another thing, like we need more like play action out of these mobile quarterbacks. I know Jalen played like he didn't want to lose his job. Like he really stood in the pocket more than he really ran for real the entire game. So if I was him, I would really just go to the offensive coordinator and tell him what he like to do. If you're a QB1, you need to let the offense know what you're trying to do and how you're going to make this team move forward. They'd rather just be like a, you know, basically like a kid in school just going with anything. Like, oh, they tell you to run this play, you're just going to do it, and you're not comfortable.
What is what's kind of the pulse up? You're up in Ohio, right? What's the pulse on Michigan and Ohio State? People feeling pretty excited about Michigan and Ohio State this year. Is this like the year that one of those teams finally dethrones a team from the SEC?
Yeah, that's what they're hoping, but yeah, everybody's happy is finally on top this year.
I mean, look, they've had the team. I mean, I don't know if they've had the teams, but I mean, Ohio State had Georgia on the ropes, but you know, it's Georgia was able to wiggle out, and you know, we'll see what they can do. Anything else, Deshaun, while I got you on the line?
Oh, no, sir. No, sir.
All right. Well, I appreciate you calling in, man. Call in anytime, man, and enjoy the weather before it gets frosted up there.
I appreciate it.
All right, man. Take it easy. All right. We got a 404. We'll jump right to you. Hey, welcome to the show. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Good evening, Kyle. Hey, this is Al from behind enemy lines in Georgia.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in, Al. Good evening. Welcome to the show, man. Take it away.
Yeah. Well, you know, just want to chime into what you had put out there. You know, the last two callers talked to some of the things that I will address. I know last week when we talked, and we would talk about the score prediction and who's going to be the breakout player and this, that, and the other. And one of the things that I know we talked about was if we don't win up the middle, we're not going to win. Yeah. And that's been clear and evident. But one of the things that the caller brought out, too, that I saw early in the game when we was able to run the ball a little bit, is that we never capitalized on that to try to get some play action, to try to see can we take some shots early to break out on top when we were effective running the football. Texas did adjust and started to take that away, but we didn't adjust and we didn't move the pocket. You know, all three of these guys that we got in competition behind center, they got similar traits. So you got to get them on the move. You got to get them on the edge a little bit. You got to give them some stuff that they can dictate and start cutting the field down, have to read. Following a guy like Bryce, very difficult. But let me bring this out too. I was watching the Monday Night Football game. Allen, the quarterback from Buffalo, he's an all-pro guy. And he threw three of the most horrible picks that I've ever seen. Okay? A pro guy, when the safety's on the far hash, you got 3-by-1.
Yeah.
Okay? And 1 and 2 is by the corner and the safety on that side.
Mm-hmm.
The safety to the far side got the third guy. So we call that trick. So if he goes vertical or comes deep, you got him.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And we coach him up like that all the time. All pro quarterbacks to make that read. So I think we're being a little bit harsh on 18, 19-year-old guys, and we should put some of the onus on the coaches. The first interception Milroe threw is right to a trap corner, okay? And that should be coached up in practice. You see what I'm saying? They baited him into that throw. So when you break it all down and start looking at that, everything's correctable, but it's a team effort. Coaches and players buy into being critical of each other. So I like the idea of playing Buckner. He's an older guy, similar skill set, but I would like to see them incorporate movement in the pocket. I would like to see them incorporate maybe getting under the center to do some power stuff, to get some of the play action stuff going. I know we don't do that a lot at Bama, but I'd also like to see, because these guys are mobile, I like to see them get some more of the zone read RPO stuff to take advantage of some rhythm throws, because that's what Sark did to us. He got Ewers in a rhythm up front, to get him in a flow, give him some easy throws. So a lot of coaching. So I'm not overreacting to the season. We're good. We just got a young staff. We got a young team. And everybody's need to take a deep breath in, man. Get these guys time to gel, give them time to become a team, build chemistry, and our staff too. As far as the pass rush, Jihad wasn't there. And from what we've been hearing over the summer, he was predicted to be one of our better pass rushers. What Texas pulled that trigger on us. They turned their freshman linebacker on the speed rusher. Yep. You saw what he did. Yep. We never got to do that with Jihad on the field. So I just think everybody needs to take a deep breath. We got a seriously talented squad. It's all new chemistry. Everything that we're talking about here that we're being critical of takes time to gel. But as far as this next game coming up, listen, man, you got to have two quarterbacks ready to play.
Yeah. Period.
In the story. I don't care if the guy fights out the number one guy, he's clear cut. The number two guy better be getting 30% of the reps with the one in practice. He better be taking some critical snaps in practice. We got to play Buffalo. Yeah, we got to play Milroe, because you can't let him lose his confidence. You might need it, if we want to go deep in the season. But just a few thoughts I had, Cal. It's good talking to you, man.
Hold on now. Hold on before we go. Hold on. I want to play. It's time to play 5 questions. Okay, so next caller is coming in. I'm gonna post the 5 questions on the board to you. One, just do a rapid fire. So Al, you're up first. Okay, so question number 1: do you start Jalen Milroe against South Florida? Yes or no?
Yes, absolutely. Continuity, playing. Bring Buckner in, 3rd series, playing. Do it like that. Just go just like a running back. Right now, we know we're going to beat South Florida. Okay, but you got to keep these guys ahead in the game. So I play. Heck yeah, I play. I give him something he's good at. I give him something to give him some confidence to get the team to rally behind him. Then I pull Buckner in, let him do it. Now you got 2 guys that's got a little confidence in what they're doing. We got to play Ole Miss in a couple of weeks. We got to get into an SEC schedule. You need 2 quarterbacks. Yeah, I started. Absolutely.
Question number 2. What does the offensive game plan look like? Does it look balanced? Is it run heavy? Does it depend on the quarterback? What you got?
I try to establish our identity. We talked about we wanted to run the football. And so that's what we do. We establish the running game up front, set the passing game up off of that. And again, we move the pocket. We get some RPOs. We get the tight ends in the middle, down the seam. We throw it over the top with the guys that we got. And we spread. We do our thing. Yeah, we run the ball. Period. Play action. That's us this year.
Do we have, and who are your, look, a couple guys have started to perform. I've seen some good guys. I don't want to taint your mindset, but who are the X factors? Yes, you have to have X factors in games like this too. Who are your X factors or guys who have been standing out to you through 2 games or even going into this game?
I like Kobe. I like when he gets open. Yep. I like when Burton down the field. The guy he's getting open, man. I like when knee block showed. Yeah. In the game, he showed flash. And I'll tell you one guy, and I have a personal. I've only been on the field with him coaching in high school. Is a kid from Georgia. He got to get on the field, man. Mm-hmm. 22 has to play. Okay. And I'll tell you, here's another thing too. Let me toss that to you right quick. We got to get stronger at the middle. I like Seth in terms of a combo blocker, get to the next level. He cannot anchor. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we have to look at the trade-off. And a lot of people have been slamming Dalcourt. I'm not a fan of his. Okay. I am not. But he got a big butt. The guy can anchor in pass block. As far as at the center, that's what he did up front. He never could get any movement. So we got a weak spot right there. But you tried Ferguson in the preseason at center.
Yep.
I'm just saying. If we're gonna experiment, garbage time. Anyway, I digress. I'm sorry.
All right, Al. Well, Al, I appreciate you.
But I like the.
No, I like your I like your take, and I think you do have to get better up the middle. Look, this last game, I like Jace McClellan up the middle too. I thought he was doing good, and it was curious kind of why they went away from the run a little bit. I mean, the game, I felt that you maybe could have controlled the time of possession a little bit more. I thought Jace was doing a good job. I want to continue to see him get some reps. I know, like Coach Sean says, you can reach your hand into the jar of running backs, but Jace is looking pretty nice. Al, I'm going to move to my next caller, man. Please call again anytime. I love the context. Obviously, the game, man, so you're welcome to call back anytime.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Coach Sean, who was on the other night. The boys chopped it up really good. They're doing you right, Kyle. All right? Roll Tide, everybody.
Yeah, take it easy, man. All right. All right. Good call from Al out in GA. All right, so check this out, fam. All right, so these are the Pro Football Focus grades. And I'll get to we got 4 callers in the call queue, 205-409-251-205. I'll get to you guys in just a second. All right, so these are the offensive Pro Football Focus grades for pass blocking. So I've explained this a couple times, but if you're new to it, I'm going to walk you through it. So you got Tyler Booker up at the top left. His jersey number is number 52. He's a guard. He's played in 2 games. Pass blocking situations or snaps, 72. Pass blocking plays, 72, and his grade, and these are former coaches that coached in college and NFL putting together these grades, 68.3. Okay, so one of the things that I have to explain too about these grades, don't look at them. So like a 90 is like above whatever an A would be. So like a 90 would be like an A+++. An 80 would be like an A, a 70 or 75 would be like a B. But then, it does get low, and, these are not acceptable, which I'm about to read. So these are pass blocking. Okay. Seth McLaughlin, I have never seen a pass blocking grade that low ever. It's clearly not good. Caden Proctor, 47.9. Again, that is not good. Darian Dalcourt, 66.8. Think of that more like a C. Because that's how the Pro Football Focus grades are. But yeah, they're not good. And I think you can see, I think I screenshot. Okay, so Terrence Ferguson down here, he's played in 1 game and he's played in just 8 snaps, which is really interesting. So if you guys want to see more Pro Football Focus grades, I have a video out just talking specifically about the grades. I don't know if any of you guys, there wasn't like too much feedback on it, but you can look on the channel and check it out. Before I get to my next callers, here's the offensive grades, and I'll come back to this in between callers, but here's the total grades for the players so far through 2 grades. Caden Proctor, 58.8. Tyler Booker, 61.9. J.C. Latham, 70.8. Seth McLaughlin, 51.0. Jalen Milroe, 77.7. Darren Dalcourt, 68.7. Jermaine Burton, as we've talked about, playing at a very high level, 78.6. And then Kobe Prince is down at the bottom of your screen with a 77.8. Those are your Pro Football Focus grades. Again, if you go to our channel home, I have a video where I spend time talking about those grades specifically. All right, we go back to the phone lines with the 205 and we start right now. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
What's up, Kyle? Uncle Charles, man. What's happening?
What's up, Uncle Charles? I appreciate you calling in, man. Welcome to the show. Take it away.
Yeah, man. I tried to get through the other night. It was like 911. It was an emergency. Let me tell you something, man. We all want to put the blame on somebody. That's just the way it is. Even in a mystery or murder movie, when you watch a murder movie on TV, you always want to put it on the person, and it ain't even that person. It's somebody you never think it is. Let me tell you something. This young man, it's out there. He's doing what he's supposed to do. And you got to block for him. You got to block for him. You can't get this young man just 2 seconds to plant his feet, and then all of a sudden the defense is in backfield. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not letting him off the hook. He threw 2 interceptions when he knew that he wasn't sure about. And if running is your calling card, then run. Let me tell you something. In this world, you're either running hard or you're running free. How you running? This is how it is. You got to do your job. Let me tell you something. You know why children go to school early in the morning? Because they're rehearsing for a job. That's why they go to school. This is what it is. You got fall camp. You got summer camp, spring. Should nobody have to tell you how to play? But if you're out there and your mind is somewhere else, then go sit over there by the big fan. I heard it's real cool. Get on over there and sit over there. Let me explain something to you. This is how it goes. Do your job. Bo Scarborough had a right to go off. I'm sitting here. I was so angry. I didn't know whether to lay down in the bed or lay across the floor because I was so upset. I didn't know what to do. I said, what is this? Stigmata? Is this the Exorcist? What's going on out there? And you took the lead. So you was good enough to play with them. You took the lead. So don't tell me you couldn't stand up and play them man-to-man, toe-to-toe. You took the lead. This is a time where you listen to Nick Saban. Nick Saban get paid for a reason. Be mad at Nick Saban all you want to, but if he leaves tomorrow, we'll be so upset we won't know what to do with ourselves. Let him have it. Let him do what he got to do. He on the cover of Forbes. I can't even get my picture on the local paper. I can't even get on that. But his face is let Nick Saban do his job. He just said today, I'm making changes. That means somebody done lost their job. And I'm going to say this in close. Don't tell me you can't do it. Every one of you young men out there in Alabama can do it. You just got to put the effort behind it. Let me tell you, let me say this in closing. My brother served in the Navy for 23 years. He protected this country. And when he retired, the Navy gave him a cat. And he named the cat Ming. I didn't see my brother for 4 years, but talking to him on the phone, but actually seeing him and hugging him, I didn't see him for 4 years. And he brought Ming with him. And Ming is so big, he looked like a duplex. But do you know that he fed Ming every day at a certain time, gave him his water, and bought him a bed to lay in? Do you know that my brother was able to leave home for 2 weeks? And Ming did what he's supposed to. He pulled his own food, pulled his own water, and laid in his own bed. And when he pulled up in the yard, Ming unlocked the door. Now, I don't speak cat. I don't even know what that language is. But I can swear there's a human being in Ming. I'm telling you that right now. Do your job. Do your job. Listen to Nick Saban. And let's get up off Nick Saban. We need Nick Saban. Nick Saban do things for Nick kids. He's a service to our state. He's a man that teach our young men how to be grown men and be successful in the pros. Look at the pros now. It's Alabama players all over the field. And you think that any other coach can do that, Nick Saban done it. So let's get up off Nick Saban and let him handle it. We're going to be just fine. We're going to be just fine. If we keep on interfering, then he's going to get up one morning, he's going to have a sugar donut and a piece of cake and talk to Miss Terry. He's going to say, I'm going to go ahead and go back to one of my business. I'm done. And you will be looking like a fool in the face. Leave Nick Saban alone. Let him do his job. And that's all I got to say, y'all. I appreciate you.
All right. That was Uncle Charles coming in with obviously one of the calls of the night. I mean, it's, we might need to get Uncle Charles his own show over here, right? Thumbs up if you agree. Uncle Charles, you might be hearing from us over here at Bama Football on YouTube. I mean, just the context, right? I mean, it's all about the delivery. Thumbs up for Uncle Charles, man. That was a lot. We're recutting that 100%. Sorry if you have to follow Uncle Charles, but hey, we have some callers who go hard here. Uncle Charles, one of them. All right, we go back to the phone lines with the 409. Let's get it. Hey, welcome to the show. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Go. Let's do it right. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Mike from Galveston.
Mike from Galveston. I appreciate you calling in, man. What's on your mind, man? Take it away.
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm a Longhorn fan. I've been checking out your show the last couple of weeks. I just want to give you a props. You're pretty good. But I was thinking, I got a couple questions for you. Do you think y'all's problem on the O-line is that y'all got 3 O-linemen that weigh close to 400 pounds?
Yeah, honestly, and we're on with Mike from Galveston, Texas fan, man. I appreciate you calling in, man, and thank you for the support, watching the channel. Yeah, it was interesting because going into the season, there was, I'm sure everybody saw the statistic that Alabama's offensive line was bigger than NFL's offensive lines, right? That's not necessarily a good thing. I mean, there's a reason like NFL guys have this figured out. I mean, this isn't as good as Alabama is, like it's not the pros, right? And you have to be athletic if you're going to be that big. And I think sometimes they were really slow. And I even noticed that against Middle that they did seem slow. So Caden Proctor, a giant. Some of these guys have massive size, but it's just, I felt it really impacted their performance. Now, one guy who was quick and could move his feet was Evan Neal, but he was completely, that's a first round type guy. But yeah, I certainly think it impacted the offensive line for sure. 100%. What else you got?
I was going to ask you, but looking at your grade, Latham, he looks like more of a guard to me. Like he had problems with our ends on the outside and he holds almost every play. But looking at y'all's pass blocking grades, it would be a mistake to move him inside. I was going to ask who would be able to replace him if y'all did move him inside.
Yeah,
I know he's more of a run blocker.
Yeah, you won't. So he's pretty much etched in stone at the tackle position, at least here at the college level. I don't know, what his trajectory is when you look to the NFL, but he's kind of your staple tackle. Those guys were having problems. And I told this to Catch of Orange Bloods is that I felt that I vastly underrated Texas defense. I mean, you guys have an outstanding defense. Those guys brought it. They were diesel up the middle. And you know what? A lot of that too, like I get it. The secondary, there was some times where I was at the game, so I was looking downfield and the secondary did a really great job. I mean, they were everywhere. I mean, that's a really good defense and they bullied Alabama's offensive line. I said this on another show. The first year that I moved here to Tuscaloosa to start covering Alabama, I went down to Auburn, and Auburn's defense did that to Alabama. And that was really the first time that I had seen Alabama's offensive line, kind of the big and almighty, be pushed around. So it doesn't happen often, but yeah, credit to Texas D-line, man. Those guys came with it with just 3, sometimes 4. It was really impressive.
And then also on your D-line, I felt like y'all went heavy like y'all used to. I think y'all made a change after Johnny Manziel ran all over you that year. Y'all went to like a quicker, faster defense. It seems like everybody was heavy. Like y'all's front 7, everybody was bigger, like NFL size rather than college size. Is that something that you agree with, or is that something I'm off base on?
I think that the defense, they have these pass rushers like Dallas Turner. I mean, he's a projected first-round guy. Chris Broswell, I think he's, second-round type talent. Q Robinson, who only played in 7 plays. I mean, I don't know where he falls in terms of the NFL, but he's getting drafted. So that was the interesting thing is I don't know if it was kind of the Jimmies and Joes or the X's and O's, like not sending a lot of blitzes because Alabama didn't seem was too creative trying to get to Quinn. It seemed like they were trying to just, they were waiting to see what was coming at them rather than trying to attack Quinn and bring in pressure, because they only had 3 pressures in that game and they had 0 sacks. So I don't know, Malachi Moore, who's a star position player for Alabama in the secondary, he was asked after the game, about the lack of pass rush. And he said, I don't know, maybe call more blitzes. So maybe that was a message to Kevin Steele, who's the DC. He's like, hey, blitz. I don't know. Look, you guys have Steve Sarkisian. I know a lot of people from Alabama have a lot of respect for Sarkisian. I do. Pay that guy what he wants. He did a great job rebuilding himself. What he's doing at Texas is great. And clearly Texas has endless pockets that, the NIL works out great for them. And I think that the quicker you get him a big contract, the better. Anything else, Mike, while we got you on?
Yeah, I've seen Dallas Turner 2 years in a row. I just haven't been impressed. I don't see a first-round pick.
Yeah.
He had a freshman on him last year, and then Banks on him this year. He made one play against the tight end. Remember when he went from side to side on that fourth down?
Mm-hmm.
We had a 245-pound tight end who's a receiving tight end, but he pushed him back and made the tackle. Other than that, he made 0 plays against us for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, besides him getting to Quinn, I guess, last year, right? But besides that, I think this is I guess like a contract year for Dallas Turner, so he has to turn it up. But yeah, Texas, the trajectory for the program, it's all on you guys this year, man. So I appreciate you calling in, man. And anytime, maybe we'll wrap here in a couple weeks. We'll see what Texas is doing. I'm curious to obviously follow them after week 2. Appreciate you calling in, Mike.
Appreciate you, brother.
See ya. All right, Mike calling in from Galveston, Texas. We got a 251, a 205, and a 256. We go to 251 right now. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. I'm David from Mobile County.
All right, appreciate you calling in, David. Thank you very much for calling in. Welcome to the show. Take it away.
I'm glad the Texas fan just mentioned how poorly our outside linebackers defensive ends played. In fact, to me, they disappeared. Not only in the Texas game, but LSU and Tennessee game last year. That's 3 of the last 4 or 5 big games we lost, and the defensive outside linebackers applied 0 pressure and disappeared in the game. You didn't see them. Where'd they go?
Yeah, you're right.
I've seen their pictures on milk cartons today. I saw their pictures on milk cartons. And quarterback, one quarterback, the player, where everything comes from, can make the whole team discombobulated, and the whole team stayed discombobulated. He showed me last year against Texas A&M game. He's had over a year to improve. He has not. If he starts the rest of the year, we'll lose another 3 to 4 games. He's not a quarterback. He should change positions. He don't even have escapability. He got sacked a bunch of times and he runs straight to the sideline. He couldn't even get upfield. So him being a great athlete didn't help him one bit. He's not a quarterback, and I think he should be replaced. Thank you for my call.
All right, appreciate you. Thanks for calling in. That was who was that? That was David from Mobile. Appreciate the call from Mobile. I a lot of people, clearly frustrated with the quarterback play, and that's why I was putting up, the question kind of going into this show was, do you think that Coach Saban will start another quarterback? And the more I've was, thinking about it, I think that he is going to start Jalen Milroe. Doesn't want to crush the overall confidence and have him play maybe till first quarter or second quarter, but we are going to see another quarter. I think another quarterback. I think we can all agree on that. I would say 3 quarterbacks, right? I don't think we'll get down to Dylan Lonergan yet, but I definitely do think that we get down to other quarterbacks in this game. The thing that's hard about Jalen Milroe is, like our last caller said, he hasn't progressed year over year, in David's opinion. With that said, his deep ball has been on the money, right? And then those short intermediate passes where, he's had to make some coverage reads, that hasn't been his best area. So it's so confusing because you have middle, then you have Texas, and you're like, then you go, like, for example, if Milroe plays the entire game against South Florida, guess what? I mean, what's he going to do? He's going to throw for like 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, right? And then we're going to go to Ole Miss and like, what are we going to learn? So that's why I think it's important just to see what you can do with some other quarterbacks to see if they have that consistency. With that said, those other guys are going to ball out regardless of who it is, considering the opponent that they're playing. All right, we go back to the phone lines, 205, and we'll start right now. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. This is Carlton from Hoover.
Hey, I appreciate it. Could you turn down your volume in the background, please? I'll give you a second.
Yeah.
No worries. Yeah, just whatever you were watching the show on, like your TV. Hey, you guys know that you guys can watch the show on your TV or any of our videos. Just go to your TV, your smartphone, and you could just say Bama Football on YouTube, and it'll pull right up. So just another way to watch it. And I missed your first name. I know you're calling in from Hoover, but what was your first name? I'm sorry about that.
Carlton.
Carlton from Hoover. All right. Welcome to the show. Take it away.
Yeah, just wanted to get on real quick. Been watching your show for a while. Just want to kind of get people off the bandwagon of downing Jalen Milroe for just a second. People kind of forget that he's only played in 4 games, and in that he has a winning record. He's 3-1 essentially. 2-1 as a starter. So the guy, he can win. And, at the end of the day, it's all about winning. I think when it comes to, the offense, I think they need to, tailor the offense to its strengths a little bit, to its skill set. Do a little bit more play action, maybe set up some screens, quarterback power runs. And then, with that strong arm of his, just push the ball downfield, use that. I mean, that's a strength for a reason. We have the wide receivers, I believe, that can, stretch the field. So let's go there. And then, just thinking about the Texas game, even though he had 2, interceptions, we forget that, Texas had 2 potential turnovers as well. And those could have been, that 10-point swings.
Yeah.
And we also had 2 touchdowns called back for penalties.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's 14 points right there.
Yep.
Potentially. So, you got to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah. Yeah. The turnovers, I mean, and Coach Saban talked about that tonight. I mean, you just can't turn over the football, and you can't have things that stop drives, right? 3 and outs, clearly turnovers, because it gives the team the other, another possession. And the defense was put in some bad spots. That's why I'm kind of reserving my take on the defense before we see more of the defense. Like, I want to see them against Ole Miss. I think that would be a good position to kind of look at that defense. Now, we can be super hypercritical of the pass rush because it just hasn't been there. And even of Dallas Turner, I've been hyping him up more than anybody. And, he just hasn't been performing in those high-level games, just like David from Mobile said. Where have the outside linebackers been in the games that Alabama has lost? Tennessee, LSU, Texas.
Right.
An inability to get to the quarterback is certainly affecting the overall record of this team. 3 of the losses. Let's do some statistical research. If you're out there, do this for me, or we can do this together. Okay, this is important. This is your homework. Okay, somebody can look it up real quick. And thank you, Dwayne, for becoming a member of our YouTube channel. To become a member, a fan funder, just hit the join button under any video. Works better on desktop. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. This is your homework, okay? How many sacks did Alabama have in Alabama's last 3 losses? So in total. So against LSU, against Tennessee, and against Texas, how many quarterback sacks did Alabama have? Okay? If you guys can research that out there real quick and then post that in the comment box, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's been an inability, to get to the quarterback, which is not good. Okay, Coach Smook is saying 3, and David is saying 3. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. Jarvis is saying 2. So it's 2 or 3, which is unbelievable. It's like that.
Wow.
It's so crazy to think about that. We just cracked the code, Carlton. Got to get to the quarterback, right? It was like, geez.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Coach Smook. Coach Smook was already on it. He said that in his show the other night. Yeah, I get it. Like that's a pivotal part of the game. Is like you got to get to the quarterback. What else you got, Carlton?
Just piggybacking on the defense. Yeah, defense definitely struggled. Having the lead going into the fourth quarter, you would expect our defense to just, seal that for us. Of course we would still have to put up points, but you would expect our defense to, just pin the ears back and get after yours. I'm hoping that they can step up this weekend. I'm hoping that we can, begin to generate consistent pass rush. Even if we have to, blitz a little bit, let's go. We need to get after the quarterback. We need to make each and every quarterback that we face uncomfortable. Get them off of their spots. And just if they're mobile, take away the add containment. Run up the middle, blitz them. Whatever we have to do, we need to generate pass rush. That's going to create more turnovers for us, and it's going to if anything, put us in better field position when we get the ball on offense. Just beneficial that way.
Carlton, I appreciate you calling in. Good context, and thanks for. It looks like we cracked the code. Okay, so you got to get to the quarterback if you want to win big time games. Appreciate the call from Hoover. Call in anytime.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was Hoover. Okay, I have to inside the comment box. I've been trying to crack this code all show. I just have to ask Antonio Mims. I'm paging you, man. What do these numbers mean? 89. We got $2Z, 89T. Man, what type of language is this? I want to know, man. 56B. I've been trying to crack it the whole time. I have no idea, man. Did you guys see too those aliens that the Mexican news released today? That was crazy because there's been all this, and I'll get to my next cause in just a second. But there's been all this like UFO talk and all this stuff, right? And all this going around. So the news today is the Mexican government released the UFOs. But the crazy thing was they looked exactly like E.T., right? Like, why did you guys see it? I was watching it today. That was crazy. All right, back to football, back to the phone lines. And Antonio, let us know what it means, man. Okay, 256, we start right now. What's up? You're on the line with Kyle Anderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
It's Bootsy from Lake Gunnersville, Alabama. How you doing, Kyle?
What's up, Bootsy? Appreciate you joining me tonight. Welcome to the show, man. What's on your mind?
Well, everybody act like they ain't never watched football before and they freaking lie. I appreciate that guy, Carlton, the one from called in. That's probably the only one I thought had any freaking sense. At least he know. Miro having to play behind a line that hell, me and you will probably get sacked 10 times, 12 times behind. He's running for his freaking life. Ain't nobody looking at that because nobody sees that. And then we passed all the way down the field, took the lead at 16-13, and we got a young offensive coordinator going to throw the ball on first down instead of run the ball trying to give our defense. Hell, our defense is fought tooth and nail. You say what you want to. Yeah, they give out in the fourth quarter, having to put in second stringers. If the second stringers is having to play, that puts a lot of pressure on. You know what I mean? We don't have the guys, the experienced guys, and people got to understand that. Let me explain something to you. Ty Simpson and Buckner, neither one can't lead that team. Now, just go and put them in. That's what he needs to do. I'll just go and put them in so they can find out just how quick that they would have been sacked how many times? 15? Huh? They can't get away from the rush at all. At all, they can't get away from the rush. So what do you need that for? They need to get behind this kid. He fought tooth and nail for him, and then, nobody cares. See? Nobody cares about that, how hard he fought just to even have, and put us in a position to win. And then you got a young offensive coordinator that can't realize that you're in the SEC. You have to run the ball in the fourth quarter. When he come out, we should have been running. Why come we wouldn't run the ball, Kyle?
Yeah.
That don't make no kind of sense. Now look here, they can be bad down the defense. Yeah, we're gonna wear out in a bunch of games. Yeah, because there ain't no help behind the backup. No. And as far as that blitzing, they're not letting him blitz. Oh, Kevin Steele, he got blitz packages. He got them. The Saban gonna have to forget that cover mess, because I'm gonna tell you, we got good cornerbacks, but ain't nobody in the whole United States gonna be able to cover for 5 minutes. There ain't nobody I know cover for 5 minutes, guy. So the thing you do is you send 6, 7, 8 if you have to sometime. I'm just send them out there. We got the athletes to do it. They need to stop that crap, because we ain't covered in 2, 3 years. We can't cover no more. We got to get to somebody with the players that we do have, and we got the speed. Use the speed. Now, that's all I got to say, Kyle. And they can go ahead and put Button in, but I'm going to tell you what's going to happen with him. He ain't never played on this kind of stage. And he's going to be so scared. You'll find out. The Eagle show this weekend, no. They could use, what is that guy, Lonergan out there this weekend. And they good. But I can tell you right now, when as soon as Ole Miss goes, when they have to score, I guarantee they'll be big. And just as soon as Milroe come off that bench, hey, that's right, when they're down 21-7 or some shit. What's the use in that? Sit down somewhere, act like they know football, and pull for the team. See? The offensive line is going to have to work. Their rear end's going to have to work. Period. That's just all there is to it. They got to work. And if they don't want to work, hell, they just put them freshmen in. Hell, might as well if they're going to look like shit anyway. All right, Kyle. That's all I got to say. Roll Tide.
Thank you, Bootsy. I appreciate the call. I was Bootsy coming in from Lake Gunnersville. First time I went up to Lake Gunnersville, it was just like, it was so amazing to me. It looked like an ocean, talking to a dude coming from New Mexico, where we got, we got a couple small rivers in there. We got a couple lakes, but nothing like Gunnersville. Hold on. I just got a text from my boy, Toby. I need to get the latest photo up there. Actually, look, I want to get this photo up because I know Toby's watching. So give me a second, and then I'll go back to the phone lines in just a second. So if you don't know who Toby is is, I guess, according to his family and according to Toby is a lifelong Alabama fan, and he is from Leeds, Alabama, and we became buddies. I'm sending myself a phone picture right now. We became buddies, and I met him before I came to the Middle Tennessee game. I was up in the press box and I saw him. So it's kind of been like a small tradition that it started. So every time I see Toby, and he watches the show, he's a long time watcher and listener, and I appreciate you, Toby. Here's Toby and I right before the game against Texas. And Toby, I see you. And Toby says that he's not going to be able to make the game against South Florida. So I'm going to send a picture. He's requested a photo from South Florida, which I will send. And then he also has a message for everybody. And it says, let's see. And they say, basically, he says that if you think you can coach, you can't, and you need to let Coach Saban do what he wants, and that everyone else can shut up. So Toby's saying, let Coach Saban coach. So that's my good buddy, Toby, and I appreciate you, Toby. And I will see you during every home game. That is Toby, my good buddy, who's a lifelong Alabama fan from Leeds, Alabama. All right, we go back to the phone lines, and we got a 256 and a 706. 256, you're up. Let's get it. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hi, Kyle. It's Adam from Talladega again.
Hey, what's up,
How
Al?
you doing?
I appreciate you. What was your first name? I'm sorry. I got so many callers. What?
Adam.
Adam. Okay. All right, Adam from Talladega. I know we've talked, a couple times. So welcome to the show. Hope you're having a great night, and take it away.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I'm calling to say that it's hard for me to believe that Tyler Buckner or Ty Simpson to be more inaccurate. It doesn't seem like that's the case, because I saw the 8A game and I saw everything else. But Buckner come in and made a couple plays. Ty Simpson came in and made a couple plays. It just didn't look like Milroe. He looked scared. He was terrified. And this kind of offense, we're either going to have to run the ball decisively with Milroe, or we're going to have to throw it deep down the field. And I really believe that Buckner could come in on the second or third, fourth series, make a few plays, get us to the 50, and then Milroe do his thing, get us in the end zone. But we have to decide that that's how it's going to be, and everybody believe in it. A 2-quarterback system is not the end of the world. And it's just like I said, I remember us talking about players before the season and how, the dude might be too big to play offensive tackle, about running out there and looking dumb and everybody running around him. I know you remember that. And also we talked about how Caleb Downs could get beat over the top, Well, maybe those things are going to happen to anybody, okay? But it doesn't have to so many times so we could win the game if we had an offense that was consistent enough or decisive enough, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to blame Tommy Reese for calling the throwing plays, knowing that's not our strong set, on first down when the coverage, everybody was on the line. If you're going to run, what happened to line up 5 wide? If we would come out there first play with 5 wide and just to see what they was going to do, they would have probably crapped. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then just let him drop back from the shotgun 5 yards and then start pump faking like he's going to throw it and then take. There's a lot of things that we could have did. I understand how are they getting to the quarterback and we're not? I think we have we need a reality check. This was a reality check, but all this talk about Bama standard, I don't want to hear no more of it.
Mm-hmm.
Not a word. Mm-hmm. Don't talk. Do it. I'm sick of that already. I put up with it long enough. I believed. I thought we was back to the Copeland, Curry, and Rogers days in '92. I believed it, but I see Justin Boydway face masking folks, tackling them, and Tyler Booker holding on a touchdown call. What's going on here, man? You're supposed to be the leaders. I don't know. It might have been a mistake to move Booker off the strong side.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Miles McVay? It's hard to believe he could, do any worse. Ferguson and Pritchett, I believe, I don't know. We all can sit here and second guess the coach, but come on, man. Coach is known to be slow about pulling people, but now there's no fan that could say that it's not time to try Tyler Buckner on the third series. And because it's just, there's no way he could be more inaccurate. There's no way him and Ty Simpson could be more inaccurate. It's just, man, I've been watching a lot of college football, and I ain't never seen people that make it to Alabama be so messed up. Milroe's got talent, but we're abusing it.
The thing about the quarterback position too is you look to, what do we just see in the NFL constantly now, right? Is like the guys in the NFL were just quarterbacks here at Alabama. Look at Jalen Hurts. Look at Mac Jones. You guys see Tua?
Yes. Also, look at Jalen Hurts. He wasn't good enough. He had to sit down, and that's where we're at now.
Wouldn't it be something?
It's just the way it is.
If Tyler Buckner, how about this? Tyler Buckner takes over, or Ty Simpson takes over. Jalen Milroe comes back, leads Alabama past Georgia in the SEC championship, and then someone else leads them past Texas in the playoffs, right? Like college football is weird like that. Like that sort of stuff could happen. But I get what you're saying.
It can be a storybook ending. I know it can. I know it can be.
But what, like, you have every right as a fan to be upset because you know, like, I get it. Whoever was going to replace
We're
Bryce,
underestimating the wheels that Buckner and Simpson have too. Now they've got a little bit of wheels. I mean,
absolutely.
Respect to the last caller, but those guys got a little bit of wheels
for sure, and they are super athletic. Like Tyler Buckner, I don't think they don't understand how athletic he is. He's an athletic quarterback, 100%. Same with Ty Simpson, but we knew whoever replaced Bryce was going to be a big step back. You're talking about the first pick in the NFL draft. I get it. But it's like the standard is higher. So that's why Coach Saban tonight, and he took accountability. Look, the guy is clearly accountable for losing. He doesn't want to lose. He wasn't mad about anybody being critical of him. That stuff doesn't bother him. He knows what people are saying. Like, that team didn't play to the level. They didn't play to the standard. Adam, let me ask you before I go, do you feel, because now we're talking about outside noise, do you feel that college football has caught up with Alabama, meaning NIL, transfer portal, has created more parity?
Absolutely. I mean, look at guys like Caleb Williams, and look at Ohio State, how they had everybody. I mean, didn't they have all the quarterbacks? Didn't they have Joe Burrow? Didn't they have Quinn Ewers, C.J. Stroud? It caught up with us before we knew it caught up with us.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've underestimated, or maybe it's some recruiting flaw. I mean, the numbers are great and all, but the guys are not delivering. I don't know, man. Some changes just need to be made for us to see. But Coach did it right. He let us lose a game with what we have, and now nobody will be mad if we change and try anything. But yes, it's caught up with us and passed us before we knew it. Same way Terrion Arnold, got beat by
he was
Mitchell.
Yeah, that was
before you knew it, he was gone.
That was rough. All right, Adam,
we're trying to hold on, but we can't.
I'll move to my next caller, man. But please call again next time. I appreciate you.
All right, man. All right. Have a good one.
Adam out in Talladega. All right. We will go to a 706 and we'll do it right now. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
What's going on, Kyle? It's your boy, Coach Smoot, man. How you doing?
Coach, I didn't even recognize the number, man. Jeez. There's so many numbers, man. I'm just blind taking them, man. I'm like, who is this? And wait, I've thought about doing a recording to where I could just hit my soundboard and be like, you on the line with Kyle Henderson, who am on the line with him, where you calling him from? Because I have to say it, and I like, the delivery has to be fast, because some people who are new to the show, when they call in, they kind of like, so the regular callers let it go. But what I was thinking about adding to the show was like, I always like, because I used to listen to the Dan Patrick Show when I worked in California. And one of the things that I liked about the Dan Patrick Show is people would call in, they would have to announce their height and weight. So it'd be like Coach Smoot, 6'2", 175. And then one of his producers would hit like the ding. And so that's how they started the show. So I thought that was funny. But anyways, all right, so you're the last call of the night. Let's do this right. What you think, man? I got the question marks on the board. There's a lot to dive into. What you thinking?
Man, it's it comes down to just decisive, immediate adjustments. And I'm not talking about waiting to Ole Miss to see them. I'm talking about we all complaining about Milroe and the offensive line. And we complain about Reese's play calling. It all plays a factor. You can't blame one more than the other. Yes, Milroe missed reads that were open. Yes, Milroe didn't have time. Yes, the offensive line opened up good run blocks early. They died off, early in this, late in this first half, and never regain composure. Wide receiver was probably the only consistent thing on the offensive side with one drop, and that was a questionable drop. Milroe threw knee black in between two guys, and he still almost made a play on the ball and actually saved the interception if you want to be honest. But what I want to see is just immediate change, immediate adjustments, man. We have to see the immediate adjustments. And I mean, we all see Milroe's strength. I believe Milroe can throw on the run, you know, moving off platform, off a different base. I think he could see the process things more clearly when his feet are moving. We saw him make some good decisions when he was scrambling towards the line, and you know, they weren't the prettiest, but they were some good decisions, some late decisions, some athletic decisions, things you don't see normally, or things that aren't taught in the QB academy, you know. So allow him to be in more of those positions to make defenses be out of sorts, because when you do that, they can't traditionally cover that type of offense, that type of movement. So it puts more strain on the defense, especially at the safety level, that, you know, allows a quarterback who's struggling with reading passes, those 7 or 8 times, you want him to drop back 3-step, 5-step drop. You want him to have the option, you know, have as much field, as much clarity to work with. And you do that by allowing him to be an athlete and implementing that run game. And that also is going to help, I believe, you know, with the offensive line. I saw a lot of the comments in the chat too, Kyle. It's a lot of people just, you know, kind of just discrediting the fact that Texas was just a solid team. They were prepared. They had been working their way up to this. They did things offensively that they showed against Rice.
Mm-hmm.
They just, you know, gave it different looks. They sprinkled a different wrinkle in there, you know. So it was nothing so spectacular. It's just they executed and they made plays that we didn't, and they took advantage of the opportunities when we didn't. So I think we should see a different play calling set on both sides. I think Kevin Bootsy was spot on with his call when he said we got all these athletes that's supposed to be able to cover and be these 5-star DBs. You know, let's start sending those 6 and 7 man pressures again. I remember Alabama used to just, you know, send guys, you know, and I mean just send them because they do that. We was going to create some type of havoc, and I don't see us making quarterbacks drop their eyes from downfield. Go ahead. I see you trying to get the super chat.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, David, thank you very much. I appreciate it. He says, can we get Marcel Darius on defense?
Man.
I mean, though, you know, those were the players. But, you know, I mean, you're right, Coach Smook. I mean, I think you bring up a lot of great points. I mean, I think when you have a quarterback like Jalen Milroe, I think I've said this a couple times, like, I wonder if, you know, you're just like, and this has nothing to do with Milroe's intelligence at all. It's just the ability to be a playmaker. If you were just to go out and be like, look, okay, make some calls at the line, be a playmaker, go out there, get the ball to your guys. That's it. Like, if you need to run. Because what I was started thinking about is Tommy Rees is a younger offensive coordinator. And sometimes when you're a younger offensive coordinator, what you try to do, I think he's only 30 years old, is he might be trying to micromanage too much, right? And kind of force his offense and put Jalen in some sort of a box. Whereas Jalen Milroe, his strength is being a playmaker, and that's out of a box.
Right.
And I think that might be the disconnect. So I'm curious to see if Tommy Rees has more of a continuity with Tyler Buchner, because they do have history. But I think like Jalen Milroe, that might be kind of something that might be kind of disconnecting Rees and Milroe, is, you know, he's micromanaging the offense, whereas it needs to be like, just go out and just be a playmaker, dude. Like, playmaker, just be it. Like, I'd be curious to see kind of, you know, like someone's talking about USC inside. Matthew, I see you talking about USC in the comment box. Those guys have playmakers. You guys seen Zachariah for USC? My goodness. That dude might be one of the most electrifying players in all of college football. You know, utilize those guys in some sort of way. I don't know. There seems to be some sort of a disconnect. I don't know. Make a final point, Smook.
Yeah, and you were going straight to my point. I don't think that there's necessarily a disconnect. I think we had to test Milroe in that type of game scheme calling at some point. And I would rather it be against a highly touted Texas team that's going to give you the exact look, probably the best look you're going to see defensively, you know, when you talking about wanting to be ready for Texas A&M front, wanting to be ready for LSU style defense, want to be ready for Auburn, you know, with their defensive front. We see them struggling early, but I think they pick it up with their veteran defense. We're going to see a lot of veteran defenses in the SEC, and why not put him to the test this early and then have a chance? You know, I think schematically it doesn't fit his strong suit. Clearly it doesn't. Mm-hmm. But you force him to see where he has to grow, because there's going to be games. If Milroe goes out and he performs against USF to the point where it's not him coming out because he's not performing, but we're just giving Buckner and Simpson looks, that's fine. He goes into Ole Miss, he handles business. If he continues to handle business and continues to progress, I don't see the play calling being lessened. I think that relating back to what he does best adds to what you're trying to build him up with. And get what I'm saying? Meaning, like, give him more, you know, 7% of his pass plays should be him on the move. The other 30%, he could drop back. So if we're going to call 20 pass plays, he needs to be on the move 14 to 16 of those pass plays for it to be successful. And play action, something, RPOs, some of those pass plays need to be quick. Majority of those pass plays need to be quick decision. And that's going to help our offensive line, which is my major concern. The offensive line, find the right personnel grouping already. Dalcourt has had his chance. Seth McLaughlin needs to clean up the snaps. Proctor is going to have growing pains, but if he continues to lose matchups early in the game, we got to get guys rotated in early so they can get their momentum built up.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Overall, I think we see the adjustments overall. Hopefully, I'm hopeful. I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket and saying Reed's going to figure it out over 1 week. I think that game was a great test and a great measuring stick. And big picture, I know everybody wants to keep looking at the small picture and what happened and how it affects immediately. But big picture, you want to talk about answering questions. We answered a lot of questions. We saw Jalen Milroe cannot step back and put the ball downfield comfortably. We saw that he's effective making plays as we thought he would. It's up to Tommy Rees to see that, and it's up to that offensive line to understand what type of quarterback that they'll be protecting going forward in those heated situations, so we don't have two great plays made by Jalen Milroe, even though one was luck, but you don't have those scores called back because the lineman is trying to block downfield because the running quarterback guy that can go break past one tackle and I could block one guy, you know, to let him to the end zone. They're not thinking, let me get downfield and try to create a lane for him. They think, okay, he might be trying to make a pass. So it's those small things that's going to continue to grow. And I'm excited to see it. You know, hopefully we see the changes. If not, man, like you said, it might be coming to an end, man. We might be seeing a transition, and a lot of fans are going to lose their hat. But me, you know, I'm going to be steady here. I've been through this before, so it won't be that to me. Roll Tide, man. I'm out of here.
Roll Tide to you, man. Good night, Coach Smook. That was Coach Smook calling in from up in VA, doing a great job here on Bama Football on YouTube. We got a Notre Dame fan in here. He's like, Reese is now your problem, guys. Drops the 4-leaf clover. Well played. Well played. All right, fam. It's time for us to say goodnight. Thank you very much to everybody who called into the show tonight. Thank you very much to all of our fans for hitting the thumbs up, liking, and subscribing. If you want to be a fan funder, hit the join button underneath any of our video. Works better on desktop. You can become a fan funder of our YouTube channel. We really appreciate you guys joining us. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. On Friday, I will be taking off to Tampa, Florida, as we go into week 3. Alabama taking on South Florida. Saturday, September 16th. TV is ABC, 2:30 p.m. That's 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Alabama favored by 31.5. I appreciate all the coverage, honestly, or all the support, rather. And thank you for being here with me, hitting the thumbs up, and cruising with me during the 2023 football season. From beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, good night, fam.